up, but I don't know if that's enough reason for you to really be worried, because now one of the key things about this composition is that you have great engage with Ornn, and when that gets mitigated, it's not impossible. We've seen Ornn's like find really nice angles to still get the charges off, but then we've seen
Rich with the throwing the ram the opposite direction and then pegging it into the team, and that worked out really
Wrecking my brain. Okay,
here we go. Okay, lull state pause. LCK mode turned off. Video game mode switched back on again. Thank you so much for bearing with us.
That's really big.
Is going to miss. Yep, that is actually a fair bit of damage missed out on. This ward over the wall is going to spot Owner out as the spear will connect. Actually stops the building of that ruby crystal. Or the cloth armor potentially, as another spear is going to connect. That's 2 for 2. Owner just going to go in there, gets himself the execute. Kanna picks up the aggro first, so they towards being okay. But when you have no point of being okay around the map, this happens, and there's almost no option as he's just bobbing for apples underneath that one.
내 창 어땡? 수리질.
But T1 with all of their control of the top lane. This should be very, very difficult for DRX to contest, as now Faker moving on in. Is the Bellows Breath going to be there? It is. Can they actually lock down the Ornn, though, is the question. Is Faker looking to get out? Heartbreaker comes on through, as that's a huge realm warp to get DRX up here, and the Jace is going to get taken down. Brilliant hook comes through as a super mega death rocket picked up. Shout out to Jonas Strong there for just getting the swift pan over to watch that one happen. So a bit of an answer there from T1. In form of the Jinx, but the Realm Warp worked out beautifully.
That kill from Guma is actually really big, because if that doesn't come through, Kingen can like just back, immediately teleport in, and I don't think this ever works out as
Speaking of things working out, Hook is going to go wide here from Jun as in goes Faker. They're on a ward, so DRX knows that this is happening. Owner's going to be able to pick up the Eye of the Herald though, and T1 are like, no, we're not going to fight for this. We've managed.
And this response is actually really nicely, all in all, I'd personally say, from DRX. Because Kingen staying alive here, like when this dive does come through, you just get blown up, right? There's no way for the rest of your team to join. There is not really a collapse possibility as well. Really big is that while this was happening, at the very early part, this is really, really important. Because if this kill doesn't happen, DRX might just immediately go and rotate towards that Rift Herald, and there's nothing that T1 at the end. It's a small lead for T1. They will be able to make it bigger once they do find this Herald, but it's a bit tankier now.
That's a great knock-up, though, as Kanna doesn't have Flash, and he just gets taken down. Bopped before the Ram even makes his way in, as now Owner, he might actually just throw down the Herald and try and take down this turret. He should be able to do so. It's giving a lot of gold over towards him as the Flame Choppers go down. Good flash there from Jet. Gets him out of the way as the turret continues to get tanked by Carrier, and he's very close to dies to that one. And yep, that is Owner grabbing all of that gold. Is now Faker close to getting dove here by Jun and Taeun. There's the box. The hook is going to connect as well as Faker.
And this is the right idea from Kanna, but you can't do that at all. Going for that poke is nice, but then pathing towards the turret is not something you can ever get away with. Can also just sit in range and give a little bit more time, and Faker also not respecting the fact that, he's a Renekton, he's pretty strong, but you're still fighting 1v2 into an Aphelios Thresh. That's not... It's very easy for you to just straight up lose fights. Even with the minute gold lead that you have right now. And I don't think you can give up another Drake.
Yoshik going to get jumped on. Heartbreak is his way out. The flash is going to be there as that spear is dodged. The Lantern going to be taken here by Jun. I don't know whether Pioshik did want to get that far out, but now he has the opportunity of heading back if he wants to. Shirley could be the option here for T1 to continue their onslaught onto the structures. Could certainly help them out, especially with breaking this mid-outer turret, as Jun's going to make his way through, gets that ward down. Immediately it is stopped as Shock Blast lands onto the Thresh, and it looks like DRX want to fight for this one. Teleport to come through. The hook is going to land immediately onto Faker as the Flay comes back. Jun going to have to go golden there as it's a decent knock-up, but Carrier has the door as the spear is going to connect onto Jet, and the poke is coming through as well. The dive onto Taeun is fantastic. It's a Super Mega Death Rocket. Not going to land, but that's only because he's dead. Now Jet's in trouble. Oh, the flash to get out of the way of the spear. Carrier goes golden at just the right moment, and the rest of T1 are going to move forward. The health bars are so low. Imagine if the Super Mega Death Rocket was still there as Kanna He really wants to find these lower health members, but this should be 2 turrets, if not more, from T1, especially if they can stop some of these backs. Oh, that rocket almost here. That's true. It happens beautiful. To the best of us. Absolutely does. Let's have a look at this one more time, though. The poke connecting beautifully here for T1.
And then we see really nice cancel there on the second activation. And everyone on T1 is like they're moving back and forth. And then once the kill actually does come through, they can move forward with a little bit less fear in their hearts. However, I think that is actually really nicely played here from DRX as well. Right? Eventually their health bars get too low, they are still working.
It's true. And speaking of that omelet, T1,
it's
now with 10 seconds left on this Drake, another hook is going to connect, this time onto Owner, and he immediately just gets exploded. Kingen taking a lot of damage, not going to be able to find the Ram the next time around, though, as the Viego immediately pops. Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide, but I just don't think it matters as Guma's got so much damage, and DRX are just bullied out of this river. Flash from Taehoon, going to get him to safety, but not going to get him into position to take on T1 around this objective. Okay, Jun gonna get tagged. Hook is going to land on the carrier, but Jun might be in trouble here as Flame Choppers go down, looking to try and deny. There's the Thresh, as Jet immediately has to go golden. Is he gonna be defended by the rest of his team, though, is the question, and the answer is absolutely not. Double kill for Gumayushi. Taehoon taking some damage, but the zap goes wide. Oh no, Guma got excited, ladies and gentlemen. And it's very, very scary. Taehoon, no mana, has to go home. Kingen, do is you distract them with a dragon and take a Baron. That's exactly what happened here. As we have a look, this is a great turn onto Owner at the beginning. But then it all kind of fell apart, and it was a good stun to make sure that Kingen couldn't get that Ram to head back.
Who needs a frontline when you have carry out Braum? Legitimately, the amount of damage that Gumayushi and Kana were able to fight just because carry out standing there with his door up is revolting. Right, like it's actually insane. Then Carrier going forward here, hitting that Winter Spite is so big. Because if that doesn't happen, I don't know if he actually gets the passive on early on, and then that hook might lean into something more. Maybe Taehoon picks up a kill, maybe Carrier dies, and then the subsequent skirmishes all can't happen. As Guma, yeah, he did get excited, murders him.
Well, here's a Realm Warp. Kana is in a lot of trouble, as the Ram is going to come through. He does have Flash, but he's still going to get knocked up. Oh man, I'd say robbed. On that one, Kana is real dead. Kyoshi going to take a fair bit of damage here as that spear almost just straight up kills him. As now T1 are just going to say, all right, well, if you guys are all just going to hang out in the top lane, we're going to take your mid inhibitor. And I guess maybe they're just going to be able to do that. Well, at least the inhibitor turret, anyway. So I guess maybe you could take that.
A little bit mitigated. It's Faker.
Yeah, another Ram is going to come through. Dominus to try and answer here, but Faker is just going to get taken down extraordinarily quickly. Yeah, not a whole lot you can do there. The Steric's not enough. As Guma's up towards the top side.
Yeah,
T1 still trying to get turrets here. As DRX now in this mid lane going to do a bit of ping pong.
And
as Guma is huge.
Yeah, because of that greed earlier on, there is now a full opportunity.
Moonlight Vigil is going to connect onto Guma there. But he does create a lot of distance between himself. Carrier going to try and get himself in front of Jet as well, who goes golden immediately. The Rune Prison doesn't do enough as the Jace falls down, and DRX decide that they just want to disengage. 4v5 is dangerous here for T1, as you're exactly right. This is Mountain Soul Point, and Guma over the wall will be spotted out, I believe, as this Baron's going down extraordinarily quickly. Remember, Guma is mega fed.
That's gone.
As, yep, the Baron is going to be taken. Can they win the fight, though, is the question, as I like the Ram being thrown backwards, but the door is still going to mitigate so much of it. Kingen a little bit too far forward as T1 setting up the Phalanx right in front of Gumayushi. In goes Faker, deciding to pull the trigger as Super Mega Death Rocket is massive, but no one's dead just yet as Kana dives in, immediate double kill as Jinx going to get the follow-up. Guma goes golden. Jet is just trying to do something, but it's not going to work. The spear from Own is fantastic, and right as we say that DRX might have a hope, all of the hope drains away, and T1 will march up the mid lane with Baron in hand.
Completely shattered hopes and dreams go from, hey, they might win the team fight, to an almost clean ace. Only give up the Braum and Carrier. He's more than happy. He was getting tired of carrying that door everywhere. His team needing him every single time. Now he can chill on the base while the rest of his team takes down a DRX. It was not the cleanest game, but it did show us are going to find moments where they get a lot done if you give them the opportunity.
Well, speaking of getting a lot done, Kana and Ona standing out. Gumayushi being able to equalize damage with a Jace in a 32-minute game is pretty impressive, in my personal opinion. I feel like...
It's also so good into Thresh, but I can't imagine that we actually go for that. It's carrier. I don't. He's probably just going to lock in Leon at the last second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trundle. That's fine too.
Like that a lot. Trundle also very solid. You can, in fact, action we are going to see in these games. Because looking at the compositions, honestly, I don't think these trades are going too poorly for Kana. Kingen's mana bar is getting taken low, and they have no idea that Owner is on his way top. That's a big wave that is stacked, so they need to be a little respectful.
Yeah, very hoppable as well as now Kingen. He does have flash, but he has no way out, and that is a super easy first blood to come through for T1. And Kana going to be helped out. Actually really like the kill going over to Owner as well, because Viego is going to be massive moving into the mid game.
At the ready, maybe throw a pillar or two.
Having a good time. Let's have a look at this one more time. Kingen just a little bit too far up in the lane, unfortunately.
And I gotta imagine that this is also somewhat of a pre-plan.
As Jun's going to go in, looks for Gumayushi, who's going to flash that wall immediately, but Pyoshik just dives on in. That's the execution with the takedown.
Or have been finding on the bot side. It's so
Moonlight
big.
comes down, Graviton's fantastic. Cannon Barrage connects as well. Like you mentioned, absolutely no heal available as Jun tanks up the turret beautifully. Carrier now in so much trouble, and that is going to be another one for Pyoshik. And DRX now 3-1 in the kill score, close to 1.5k their lead. Here for DRX in the early stage, the Aphelios Thresh maybe deserving a little bit more respect. You already mentioned how good Jun was on this Thresh, and they just comfortably grab this kill onto Gumayushi and continue it even after the teleport.
Yeah, this should not be a shocker. This time, you can't miss a spear when there's a Graviton ultimate, fortunately. So nice Moonlight Vigil there, and the Cannon Barrage just to make even more sure that both of them are very, very dead. If you take away the nameplates, I'd say DRX is in a splendid spot.
Oh yeah,
as Faker is gonna.
Yeah, not going to be able to get back into the Realm Warp this time around, as Faker's just going to get taken out. Shirley going to be taken here by T1, looking to complete their Shellfish collection for the entire series. This Shot Barrage.
That pillar.
Going to do a fair bit of work as the steal comes through! Oh no! And now T1 looking to try and defend the eye to keep their turrets alive. Spear is going to miss as there is the pillar. That's a good Narbar for Kana. He has an opportunity of trying to go in, but now he doesn't, as the barrel and the spear are going to connect. There's Cannon Barrage as Jet's going to pick up the eye, looks for the Q, but does not find it. And DRX, that was highway robbery.
That was beautiful. At Soul Point for a team, you just need one good play.
Yeah, and then it all goes pear-shaped.
뭐야?
Like,
What? What?
Yep.
야, 이거 눈가루 먹어야 되는데?
Get the eyeball, is what he said.
They did get the eyeball.
Indeed. As DRX now wanting to get themselves Soul Point. See if some of this poke can connect. Of course, DRX with a slight advantage in that regard. As Guma, let's see how many of these Mystic Shots can actually land. Kana with a good Narbar right now, wanting to keep control of it, as now he's hit critical mass. Toon's going to take a bit of damage, and that is going to be T1. Locking this one down, Kana looking for his opportunity, but maybe he's overextended. The spear connects onto Faker, and now he can't go in. DRX actually playing this so beautifully, waiting to land all of the poke as the Gnar is going to lock down Jet, who just overextends himself. Bit of a disaster there, unfortunately. As Owner now turns into a Lee Sin. Spear, oh, I mean, Guma or Faker were dead if one of these hits max range. As, yep, like the zoom, thanks Jonah Strong. Knows exactly how valuable that is as Carrier slowed down by the spears.
Not looking too hot here in this game against DRX.
Oh, we're going to find an Gnar into the wall, onto the Thresh. Jun just going to get exploded. Guma able to do a whole lot of work there as the Realm Warp to help them out there as Jet possibly able to get in, gets the kickback onto Canna, who has the Mega Gnar, but it is going to be Ona that locks this one down. Now Jet's in trouble. Good wallop onto the Lee Sin as a lot of damage is being taken here from T1 as Faker, no flash available, avoids the spear as the Nexus turrets are being sieged. The empowered backs are going to get T1 to safety, and I guess my question is, was it worth it? They are going to go towards the Drake. I love this, the evolution of T1. Giving away the Baron so they can deny the Soul. As it's not normally what they would do. As, okay, let's see whether Ona is going to be able to pass the score test, and does so by waiting out the Cannon Barrage. I like that.
Not taking any risks there.
Yeah.
If you lose that smite, that is...
Yep, just means that if you've got 6 items, you can still put wards down, as Guma is going to Arcane Shift to get himself out of the way of the Cannon Barrage, but now it's just the immediate turn onto the Nidalee, and T1 will just blow up these members of DRX that are here, but there's just not enough, as now T1 are going to barrel down the mid lane, and Kingen invested the Cannon Barrage, but there was no one there.
They weren't ready. I don't think they saw this immense amount of re-engage coming through, and Nodama just looked to end the game.
Immediate flash out from Kingen, who gets caught by the trophy. T1 continuing to push forward. True Shot Barrage will land onto Jet.
One cannon.
Yeah, they're going to try and keep these minions alive as best they can. And remember, this is 37 minutes into the game. Teleport to keep the minion alive as Jet's going to go golden. Faker just going to stand in front of him. The kick is going to do not a whole lot as Faker tidies up the Lee Sin. And they're just falling like bowling pins. Guma just going to be arcane shifting forward. Kingen going to be taken down. And DRX, they had all of the control. They were absolutely winning until their Nexus exploded before their eyes.
It's a painful.
That isn't a highway robbery. I don't know what is. Although the gold lead was never really a big one.
Thank you very much, guys. This is season with the POG interpretive translation joined by Kobayashi, Faker, the two carries on the side of T1's roster. You guys now have 30% of probability to get the bye in the playoffs right to round 2. Faker, how are you feeling? Even though we won 2-0, in fact, I don't think this was the T1 style of aggressive victory, so it's a bummer, to be honest. Kobayashi, this is your first interview in the summer split. Congratulations on a 3-match winning streak. And how are you feeling getting the POG? I'm a little bit nervous seeing our first interview of the season, but feels great. But still, the game 2 wasn't that clean, so I don't feel good about that though. Now let's take a look at the game number 1. We had Braum and Jinx, and you guys did have a great game in the later phase, but still, it was really odd to see DRX letting that Braum through. I guess DRX was confident to win lane with Ophelia Thresh. What did you feel with that Braum open? Braum is a really good pick into Ornn, so we were a little bit puzzled to see Braum was actually let through, and we were happy to just take that. Did you have the confidence that you will get the POG and carry the game together with Braum? No, the main theme of the draft was actually playing around the top side. I just wanted to hold on to the late game and then do a little bit better than the opponent, Aphelios. I have another question about Braum, Kyria, and also coaching staff. What did they say with that Braum being available? Even if Braum got banned, we had a lot of other plans, so we weren't worried about Braum bans. And now that the opponents let it through, we just wanted to lock that in. In the end of the game number 1, every T1 player were like, "Oh, I'll do better next game. No, I'll do better next game. No, I'll do better next game." You had some good spirit and energy inside of T1. I think sticking to this one roster kind of helped out a lot, right? Yeah, we have had a lot of time to, tidy up our teamwork, and it's been pretty long since we've been playing together like this, so we know each other's play style and whatnot. So I think we will keep improving and ramping up. And Guma Yusi, just like you mentioned, you didn't have a good time down on the bottom lane. You took teleport as your summoners, but you got caught out on your rotation towards Herald, and there were some sloppy moments in the early phase of the game. Did something go wrong early on? I did see that coming, you know. I thought this is gonna be a rough matchup, but it was even worse than I expected. So, yeah. That part is the one that I'm unsatisfied with. And because of that, Ezreal was not having a good time, but later on you were able to come back. But the game actually looked to be in favor of DRX even at the end of the game. I was never sure that we're gonna turn the game around, but as I was able to exceed the opponent AD carry's level, I was like, maybe we can throw a shot, and then in the last team fight when we got the win, I was a little bit confident that we'll close out the game. Faker, did you know that you'll be able to turn around with that one shot? We were rotating down towards Nidalee to get a pick, and we thought there would be a ward. In fact, there wasn't, so it was lucky. Why did you guys decide on to target Nidalee instead of Aphelios? Because she didn't have stopwatch, so that was the main reason. Game 2, DRX had control over the game the entire time, but you guys just turned the game around with one last team fight. And we had a very split vote as well, so who do you think also contributed a lot to this victory? Well, in fact, I never thought I would win the POG. So I'm really thankful for this POG result. If anyone else could get it, I thought Kana would win POG. What was the stare at Guma Yusi before the answer? I don't know. I don't know why you looked at me. In fact, I would be so embarrassed if I got the POG. What about Kyria? Well, just someone else would win it and deserves it. I also thought Faker is the one that deserves the most. Before we go, another question over to Faker. T1 is once again having an upward trend as we are leading into the end of the summer split and heading into the playoffs. I guess a lot of teams would be afraid of T1 for sure. What's the key to this kind of a trend? We don't have anything like a key. I think we got lucky as well. And also, last year, somehow we failed to make it to Worlds. So this year, I even have a stronger kind of eager to make it to Worlds. So maybe that's why we are performing better this year around. Our last opponent of the regular split will be Hana Life Esports. How are we going to prepare for that match? Because we got a 2-0 victory, and if we also get a good result in that upcoming match as well, I think we will have a huge upset in the standings. So I hope we can wrap up the final match without any mistake, and I will do my best to come back with better performance in playoffs. I think our performance wasn't clean in general, but Hana Life Esports will be the final task to check our status of performance, and regardless of the result, I hope we can focus on our own performance. That will be the end of the interview from Guma Yusi Faker, and I'm going to throw it back to our casters. Thank you.